Stop.
Who are you?
I am Devon.
Yeah, there's a new member in the crowd.
Hi. What's your name? Oh, can I see you right now? Jody. Hi, Jody. Welcome. This is FEMO lesson number 12. So last we left off a long time ago, I think we were going over the effects of advertisement upon costs. And this time, we're going into minimizing costs. Now, there's two things. Chris, do you have the marker?
I put it down somewhere.
You can write on the spot.
No, right on the spot.
Oh no, I found it. There is minimizing cost and there's maximizing profit. Now, they may sound a bit different and also similar because it seems like you're just making more money, but they are actually completely different. You don't necessarily want to minimize costs completely to zero because there's always going to be a cost, whether it's buying the products needed to make the actual product you are doing, the materials to make the product, or whether it's the workers to actually produce the product that you want. There's always going to be a cost. But when I mean minimizing cost, is making sure that you're being efficient with your costs, with the money you spend. So let's say if you can negotiate and realize.
Hey, Devin, what's this slide about?
This slide is about negotiations or getting a better deal for whatever you are getting from the manufacturer or carrier. So it is the best way to minimize cost. It is both something that can be applied early on in business. So let's say if you're trying to get your products, you can be asking for more products, more materials for a better price or a better unit price. And even something later on, as you continuously work with that same company, you can even ask for more deals for being such a valuable customer. And some way to do this is to have something called leverage, which is something you can hold against them. Let's say you are working at a job. If your leverage in that case, if you're asking for a pay raise or even a promotion, is to move to another job or switch companies. And the same kind of concept applies to companies themselves. They can switch to another provider or manufacturer and hold it against them as part of deal making or negotiating. Another way to do it is to ask for better deals for buying more. Bulk sale. Think of like Costco or BJ's. Do you know any of these? Oh god. Oh wait. Basically like wholesale distributors in that case. If you buy more, you can sometimes ask for a better price. So let's say if 50 costs, I don't know, $100.
Thanks for telling us, Jen.
No problem. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. It's been so long. Yeah. You can ask for 100 to be 175, let's say. So I don't know if you guys can see that. I probably should have shifted it over.
Oh, no.
You guys see that? Well, if you take the unit price, it is $2 here per product. I'm just gonna say $2, and here it is $175. So you did get a better deal out of it by buying more. So you can try to ask for more and have it so you don't have to pay $200 for 100, but rather something a bit lower. So you get a better unit price, I would say. Another way, and this is something you see very commonly these days, is setting up your company in a different country. If possible, you can actually switch companies for lower tax rates and lower minimum wages. Now, it may seem unethical, but this is something companies are for profit. They're always going to try to get more profit and less cost if they can avoid it. So, lower tax rates. What that means is that less money of yours is being taken away. and lower minimum wages. Let's say if you have an industrial job, like something in factories or so, or something that could be done anywhere in the world.
Car manufacturing.
Oh yeah, car manufacturing. You can have people be paid less for the same job. So I put the example of Mexico, and with car deals, car manufacturing, this actually really applies. So Mexico, and this is, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, has a minimum wage of 48 cents per hour, compared to the US 7.25.
That's like 48 times more than you're getting paid right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually infinitely times more.
What?
Infinitely times more.
Well, no, you're getting paid like a penny at least. I mean, no, but if you guys remember, this is like a big topic of debate during the election because Trump was saying all that stuff about how car companies are shipping over to like Mexico and Asia, and they're paying their workers a lot less, and Americans are losing jobs. So that's kind of why Devin said it's unethical to do that, because it's an American company and they're taking advantage of cheap labor and often exploited labor in order to make money.
Yeah, this is actually a problem. I'm just gonna put it in real world context. It's actually this kind of problem of moving to a different company is a problem that China is gonna be facing soon, and is starting to
Like
face
moving to a
now.
different country or company?
Hmm?
Moving to a different country?
Country.
Okay.
So in China, the minimum wage, is increasing because net income is increasing at the time. So what's happening is that because they want a better, lower minimum wage, or to pay less for the companies, for the employees, they actually are starting to move their bases or factories into like places in Southeast Asia, such as like Indonesia or so. And that's what's happening, where they keep shifting it over in order to get cheaper costs, basically. So I gave the example of a lower minimum wage. Another example is the Cayman Islands, and if you ever heard of this before, well, you probably heard it from the business world, because they have a 0% tax rate. Yeah, when I mean they literally have a 0% tax rate, I literally mean that.
Is it because like only 3 people live there?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, you can turn the lights.
No.
You don't have to demonstrate 0% tax on the board.
Oh, you're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, math genius Devon Lall now demonstrates 0% tax.
So if your revenues, actually I'm going to put it as sales. Sales revenue are pretty close. Sales is, I don't know, $1 million. Be short. Yeah, so I realized how short I was. And if you have a tax rate of 0%, you basically have $1 million now. But if you go to the US, the corporate tax rate is roughly 20%, I'll say, right now, or it's going to be. Well, then you would have 0.2 times a million would be 200,000. So a million minus 200,000 is 800,000 left.
Basic math!
Hey,
Whoa!
that difference, that 200,000,
Oh god.
is what's lost to taxes. And that's why companies would switch to lower tax rate countries. I don't know why I keep confusing the two. Both have a C in their name. And so what you see is the Cayman Islands. It's actually, you would know it as an offshore company because they claim they're from the Cayman Islands, although they might be an American company. And so that's what happens. They try to get that 0% tax rate.
I mean, they do the same thing in America, except they change the state in which they're incorporated. And like, if you're in California, some people make it in Connecticut for the same reason.
Yeah, because different states have more or less taxes. Like New York City has one of the highest taxes because you have to pay federal, then state, then local. It's a lot of taxes. So that's why they start setting up in different places or different countries. And you can do that as well. I wouldn't recommend it as when you're first starting up because you're not an official company per se, but when it comes to in the states, like Chris was mentioning, different states have different taxes. So, so yeah, you would have to think about that when you actually start making money and start losing it to taxes. you can also think about it when you start making money in real life with actual jobs. And the last point to minimizing costs is to increase efficiency. So this can mean technological advances such as, if you think of car manufacturing, a robot can basically do like 5 to 10 people's jobs back in like from the 1900s. Or it can come from increasing productivity of the workers, so having them do more work for the same amount of money. And that allows for lower costs. And when it comes to increasing the productivity or technological advances, that means you can also lay off workers. So yeah, it might seem bad to lay off workers, but
Oh, it's definitely bad. They put it in the news all the time.
yeah. I mean, there is one aspect where just like profit, and then there's one aspect where just like employing people. And a company shoots a profit. I'll tell you that much. Well, for the most part. So those are the 3 ways you can do it. There's negotiations, the best way, and the most common way. Setting up your company in a different, setting up your company in a different country, which is something you would do later on, but when it comes to the States, they have different taxes, you can think about that. And there's increasing efficiency, which is the hardest thing to do because you can't really predict technological advances, but you can do research, of course. Or increasing the productivity of workers, that's probably the hardest thing you can ever do. It's like telling somebody, hey, like in your classroom, if all of a sudden, instead of getting one, like your homework, if it doubled the size, the students would probably protest, I would guess. So, yeah, those are the 3 ways to minimize cost, and the next lesson would be maximizing profit, the most important lesson.
Awesome, Devin.